Right.
Hey, hi. Well, welcome, Anita. It is very nice to meet you. So I am Kelly of Comwater's Cloud Accounting. I have a bookkeeping practice here in Canada. And I also do app partnership work in terms of seeing what's out there. I love technology, anything that's going to make our clients' lives easier or more efficient. And our roles as accounting professionals, I love when it's more fun, number one, what technology does, making it fun. And then, of course, making our businesses more efficient. So that side of my business is called the Sassy Accounting Coach. And just for fun, that's SAASY. So a little play on the SAS. So that's me. And today is, just for a timestamp, it is April 14th. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Mid of April.
And Anita of Liveflow, tell me a little bit about you.
Very nice to meet you, Kelly. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Anita. I'm a co-founder at Liveflow. We are building a platform that helps accountants, bookkeepers, and CFOs streamline QuickBooks data into Google Sheets in no time.
Oh, so it's Google Sheets, it's not Excel?
Yeah, it's mainly Google Sheets, but there is a way to work with Excel, and we can talk about it a little bit later.
Okay, so that's interesting because I saw it on your form. So just for anybody who happens to watch this, I do a vetting form so that I get I think, Anita, you said very in-depth information on applications. So I ask a lot of questions in my favorite sort of toy, which is Typeform. I think it's got a fabulous end user experience. But I saw in that form sheets, but I took away in my head, this is what's interesting about talking to somebody rather than just reading it. I took away spreadsheets, but it's actually sheets.
Yeah, it's Google Sheets. So you can see that if you go to Workspace, Google Workspace, we appear on Google Workspace Marketplace, and this is a product for Google Sheets because well, they have fantastic API to pull any sort of data just into Sheets seamlessly, which QuickBooks allow us to do. But we also learned that many people love to use Excel, and that's totally fine. And there is a way to publish data to Excel so that it is connected via Sheets, but goes to Excel eventually.
Okay, and so super quick, my goal is to take you totally off topic. I know that possibly you have a demo idea in mind, and I'm just going to wreak havoc on it. But hopefully I'm asking questions that other people would ask. So part of the thing of Liveflow is that the data is live and in real time, or we'll come back to that and you can correct me. But is it live and in real time in Excel?
There is a 5-minute delay, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So any questions, anything to clarify?
No, just super quick. I always, so as you know, at the beginning of the form that you filled out for me, I ask what your 3 favorite applications outside of your own, obviously, are. And I will say, because I've been on sabbatical since October, I've been doing quite a few of these this week and a few last week. And every single person has put Slack in.
Yeah, can't live without it, literally. I can't live my life without it.
And so Slack is in there, and then I see you've got Notion, so that's cool.
Yes, absolutely not. Yeah.
And then you've got Superhumans. So for anybody who doesn't know, kind of what Anita and I are doing here is going over stuff because I have a Facebook group, and in that group there's 4,500 members-ish, almost any day now, who love their apps because it's all about apps. And there was a whole discussion. I mean, Notion is I'll call it a family favorite in the watering hole. You hear a lot of people, including my moderator, Brian Clare. He just embraced Notion. We all love Slack. But Superhuman got some traction in my group not too long ago as well. Okay, so anyways, like I said, it's my goal to take you totally off track throughout the day. But it's fun to learn about what you do outside or what you like outside of Liveflow. So anyways, carry on.
That's a good question. Literally takes 100% of my time. I don't do anything else.
No, but I meant technology wise.
Well, technology wise, yeah, true. I'm trying to be as productive as possible at work. So here you can see some of like small apps that I love. They sit right in my Chrome browser, Google Chrome. Clearly,
Oh, you love
clearly there is superhuman. I promote it heavily. I don't receive anything for that, but it allows me to fly through my emails, and I do spend a lot of time in my inbox. So I can't recommend it enough. There's like one small thing. I love emojis. So
oh, that's cute.
yeah, it allows me just to quickly copy and paste an emoji in an email or in Slack or whatever.
That's fun. I see you have Grammarly up there too.
Yeah, and like a few other apps like Calendar, for example, that's something that I totally love.
Right,
very convenient.
Online schedulers, can't live without them, right?
Like it's all about saving time, I think.
Sure, yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I took you off track enough, and start to tell me about Liveflow, including why did you get involved with Liveflow? What was your impetus? Why do you exist in the product, not just why does the product exist? How did you come to decide this was something you wanted to do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, previously I worked at a UK-based company, which is currently like valued at $33 billion. It's called Drilldown. I think it's actually on the US market right now, and tried to do the Canadian one as well. So essentially, it's the card that allows you to travel across the world without paying anything extra in foreign exchange rate. So basically, if you go somewhere to Europe, you pay like at home without paying anything extra. And Prevalent is now like a huge company, I think roughly 3,000 people or so. I joined it when it was not that huge, maybe 300 people. And I was lucky to be the first hire, like business development hire at one of the products. And that product was called Rewards, and it's currently existent. And essentially it meant working with small, medium, and even big enterprises like Uber and Amazon to sign contracts and just, yeah, essentially like, first of all, build financial models and then make sure that both sides like are successful, Revolut and those businesses. And what happened is that I worked with small and medium businesses across the world and figured that those models that we would build with, let's say, Uber or Amazon didn't make sense to small businesses, and it was like a way harder sell because they don't really dig into numbers generally. And that was like a big problem that I was seeing. And also Revolut was the place where I met my co-founder, Lasse. Lasse was the head of growth at Revolut. And before that, he started many small businesses, starting like from a coffee shop in Denmark, and later on a financial technology app in the US. So he has quite some story. And Lasse always struggled with financial management. And he initially kind of came up with this idea of helping businesses manage their finances better. And we aligned really well on that and decided just to give it a go. We tested the idea on small businesses and saw that this is like one of the main reasons why businesses fail, just like the inability to work with finances, to understand finances. And we decided to build a product that would make sense to these businesses, first of all, and then scale it from there. So we applied to an accelerator, which is called Y Combinator. That's an online, because of the pandemic, typically it's offline, online accelerator that took us like 3 months. Essentially, we just talked to businesses and learned about the problems they were facing. Essentially, we wanted to build like a dashboard that would just consolidate all of the data into a single source of truth, where the business can see what's going on and just make better business decisions. And that all made sense, but they didn't really look at numbers that often. That's what we wanted them to do, but they didn't. And then what we learned is that everyone still uses either Google Sheets or Excel and needs this flexibility rather than a dashboard that doesn't really move. Because everyone has their like own tweaks. Like you see the initial numbers, let's say from QuickBooks or Xero, but then you turn them into your own dashboards that are relevant to your business rather than something else. So we had to completely switch from building this dashboard to building a Google Sheets add-on that would allow you to pipe the data into Google Sheets and set this up the way you want it rather than we think about it. So that really helped. And surprisingly, we saw the pickup among accountants, bookkeepers, and fractional CFOs because they manage multiple businesses in one go, rather than, let's say, we talk about the business, which they look at numbers like maybe once a month. So it turned out that this is a perfect fit for finance professionals first of all. And that's how we started to work with accountants, bookkeepers, and CFOs. And then since then, been growing. Like we released it, I think, beginning of October last year, and since then it's been growing really, really well. And yeah, it's a perfect fit because as an accountant, you might manage like from 5 to endless number of businesses,
right?
And you definitely want to be more productive when you do the repetitive stuff over and over again. By this I mean going to QuickBooks, downloading your CSVs, going back to Excel or Google Sheets, and then just customizing the dashboard and then sending it to your client and making sure that numbers are aligned, having a call, having a Zoom call, etc.
Right.
It's all can be simplified, and all of the manual work can be eliminated if you just create a dashboard that is relevant to the business and allows you to communicate in real time. Sure. That's what we do.
Okay, so communicate in real time in that you are sharing that Google Sheet.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And so then the communication comes from the same way that you communicate in Google Sheets, which I love communicating in anything Google, right? It's it's so collaborative. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we love it, because it's so flexible and it allows you to add all sorts of customizations on top. So for example, we saw people coming up with ideas right after seeing the product. So for instance, you want to be posted in case someone owes you a certain amount of money and you need to make sure you're positive, right? So in this case, you can set up a zap. In case this number exceeds X, send me a Slack message, send me an email, send me a message to my phone, so that you stay informed. And that's all because of Google Sheets that allow you to do all of these things. And Zapier,
right. Okay. So any of the native integrations with Google Sheet native, any of the integrations like Zapier are obviously translate into your product.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, okay, cool. So you just were near and dear to, so the moderator in the Workflow watering hole, his name is Brian Clare, and he is buddies with Heather Satterley, that you just did the Appy Hour with. And Brian and Heather are Zapier crazy, and Brian is Slack insane. Right. So you just broke his little heart with joy and happiness right there. So shouts to Brian Clare on the Zapier to Slack.
Yeah, that's actually was Heather. Like during the webinar that we did with them on the Happy Hour, she came up with this idea. She was playing with it and she discovered all the use cases that she can just utilize. And she was like, let's share it. And like it's at the very end of that episode, she just shares her screen and shows how she set up that Zapier, and she has already tested it, and like this notifications go to Slack. And I was like, wow, that's amazing.
She is jaw-dropping inspiring when it comes to so many things, but all things no code and Zapier. Okay, but back to, so shouts to Brian and to Heather, but all that being said, let's get back to Liveflow.
Right.
Okay, so your market is us. It's bookkeepers and accountants. It is not the end user.
We do have, I think, around 30% of our customers as small businesses. So they're like small business owners, and they're like finance savers. So they do understand finance, and it really matters. And then they just set up all the crazy things we just discussed, like all the automations, etc. But the core audience right now is the audience of bookkeepers, accountants, and CFOs. Okay,
great. Okay, do you want to demo us?
Yes, with pleasure.
Okay, great. Okay.
Cool. Let's have a look. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, basically what we see right now is Google Workspace Marketplace. That's where our app lives, and where, by the way, you can find all sorts of apps for productivity. So you just go workspace.google.com Marketplace, and then you can just find something that makes sense to you. So
don't you love that? So I'm going to take you off topic again. That's what's great about Google, whether it's Google Forms, although, as I said earlier, I love Typeform. I think the end user experience is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But Google Forms is easier to learn, obviously, and the add-ons are fabulous. I mean, there's so many great things about Google products.
Yeah.
I like a form builder of any kind. Google Forms, some of the add-ons are fun. And same, people underestimate the add-ons for some of the Google apps. Okay, carry on, back to Liveflow.
Yeah,
Good
so
luck.
yeah, that's the space just to be creative, honestly, just to find something that solves your problem. Alternatively, you can find Liveflow on QuickBooks App Store. If you go here, just type and search your Liveflow, you can find us. And of course, you can check all of the ratings that we have from our customers. And if you need to connect with us, there are all the ways you can connect. By the way, we are very responsive and we do appreciate customer feedback. And many things that you can discover in the app appeared because of our customers. We do love to listen to what people want and build for people. So if you have anything on your mind you want to share with us, we are very open to that. So what we do next? So we install Liveflow. So you click on this button here. It takes like 1 second to install. So what happens next is that you will find Liveflow under extensions here. So you go to extensions in your Google Sheets, and then you will be prompted to connect your company. So from here, you can see that you can connect as many companies as you want. So that's something that actually accountants brought, because you guys have to log in and log out from multiple QBO accounts. And it's a little bit cumbersome to do it all the time once you need like to pull the data for various clients. So what we allow you to do, you can connect as many companies as you wish, and all of them will be available. So you set up your spreadsheets per client. So it can include, let's say, P&L, balance sheet, AP, ANR, and all the other reports. And then for another client, you set up another spreadsheet, and they will be all refreshed in real time. And your clients don't need to go to QuickBooks to check their data. So I think that's one of the best things actually that we have in the product, because you just connect to multiple companies, connect them to spreadsheets, they're all refreshed in real time. Done. Okay. So how we connect companies? We click here, and we go to QuickBooks. So basically, this is the authorization window where Intuit asks you to log in. You log in and you choose the companies that you want to connect. As an accountant, you will have like the accountant view and the companies. So here I just have a few companies. So let's imagine I want to connect this one. I say next, and then we go back. We see that we have successfully connected our company. Everything is fine. The window closes and we go back to Liveflow. So what we see here is that this company is connected and all the other companies will be listed here. So for instance, this is the sheet that you share with your client called Demo Acme. And it means that you set it up like per tab, or you can create like a flash report that I learned from Growth Lab Financial, where they just pull P&L, balance sheet, other reports, use horizontal VLOOKUP and create like one consolidated dashboard that is just shared with the client. That's something also possible. So let's go step by step through pulling a P&L report. So we choose a company here and a report from the list. So in this case, we look at the P&L, but obviously apart from that, we have way more reports that you can look at right now. And we're adding more than as we speak. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I have a question. The reports are created originally in QuickBooks?
Right, yes.
Okay, and you can obviously pull from custom reports as well. So they're not just, and hopefully I'm not asking a dummy question, but you can pull, you can create custom reports and pull those too, right?
Not yet. I would say it this way. We've heard it like many times. Many people do want to have custom reports pulled. We don't have them yet. They're a little bit different in terms of the structure, how to pull them like from QuickBooks through API. So these are standard reports for now, but we will pull custom reports as well.
Okay. Cool. And it's got predictive type, correct?
Yes. So from here, we choose the P&L, we choose the accounting method, and then a date range. So here,
so within QuickBooks, you basically have to choose whether, which makes sense, you're going to be cash or accrual. You can toggle back and forth, but it's not great policy. But if you change this here, it doesn't change it in QuickBooks, right?
No, it's a one-way connection. So we essentially read whatever is available on QuickBooks and pull it into Google Sheets. We cannot push something back to QuickBooks from Google Sheets. Yeah. So we choose the date range. And I think something that is really important is that you can set it up for your future. So basically you can choose like this year, next year, or any other report. And then say like, okay, let's display columns by, and then we choose how we want to display our columns. the most standard way of displaying it is just to say display columns by month, but we can also switch to weeks, customers, classes, product, services, locations, etc.
Okay, and so again, do you have predictive type? So when you are display columns by, for example, do you have to scroll down or can you type it in?
You mean like?
Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. Can you predictive type it? Yep. Okay.
That's how you call. Yeah, sorry.
I am a gigantic believer in search and predictive type. Okay.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Got it.
Sorry.
Got it. Yeah, no worries. Cool. So yeah, I didn't pick anything. Yeah. So that was. Hold on. Something happened. Create live report. Yeah, by month. So we choose our columns organized by month. So then the report is created. We are forwarded to that newly created tab. So we just can minimize the app. And then we can see that I pulled the report for this company for this period of time on a monthly basis. And it was last updated at 3:33 p.m., which is like right now. And we can see that we pulled the chart of accounts with some values here. So I think what is really important is that you can modify this report the way you want it. So for instance, you want it to be with another color here. You want to compare your budget versus actual. So let's say for April, you want to add a column and say like budget April 2022, and then you can add a variance here. And then say budget versus actuals. It will be budget versus actuals here. And of course you can stretch it down. And here I'll just put some random values.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so what we do is that we go to QuickBooks every time and see whether there is some update. And then we pull this update without breaking your cell reference here. So for example, now I will go to this account that we just looked at. It was here. And I will add a transaction for April that will appear in this column, and then variance will be recalculated. So let's go to this company. That's what we pulled here, I believe.
Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then let's go to expenses. And then let's create a new transaction, which will be like a new expense. We paid, let's say, Virgin America, and yeah, we have it here. So let's say we paid some like random amount, like 15,555, and then it will be paid. Let's say like today, for example. This is a new transaction coming in for April. So we say, okay, save and close, and then we go back here, and we can check how often this will be refreshed. So right now it says for this particular report, we have refresh live based on the fact that I opened this spreadsheet. So that's something really popular when you have a client and this client also goes to the spreadsheet. And whenever someone opens the spreadsheet, it will be all refreshed. Alternatively, you can set it up on every hour basis. So basically, whenever there is like 1 hour from the last moment we pull this report, which will be like 4:33, it will be refreshed. Also, if you want to pull the numbers and have a look like this April, which we'll look at right now, to be refreshed right now, you just hit this refresh button. So now let's have a look at these numbers because they will change since I will trigger this refresh. So let's have a look here. Here we go. So this is our new transaction. For travel expenses, Virgin Atlantic, and then we can see the variance, which was recalculated as a difference between budget and actuals. So that's the way it works. And what we see, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this conversation, people create their own dashboards that make sense to their businesses. They reference cells, and then the cells are auto-updated with the most recent data from QuickBooks. Yeah. So do you have any questions? Do you want to clarify something here?
No, actually, I think one of the nice things is it's fairly obvious how it works and where the benefits lie in it. I have user questions, I guess, just simple. I don't know if these would be UI or what they would be, just how the end user would use it. So super simple. All of the reports for one client are in new tabs in a sheet. Yes, whenever we pull a new report, we create a new tab. And
it's basically created by Liveflow, and all of the data will be pulled in there. If you want something custom, you can just consolidate all of these reports through cell references.
Okay.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's have a look at what we have apart from that. So we had a look at this report right now. So we looked at pulling this data from QuickBooks, and now, for instance, you want to change this report. So, for example, we realized.
Can we back up for 1 second on questions? So
Right.
the very first time you go to create the reports in Liveflow, and maybe this is obvious and I missed something. How do you decide? It just exists in Google Sheets, and then you move it into a folder that perhaps you share with your client.
Right, on Drive, you mean, or something like that.
Right, like how does that process all work? How do we decide, or how does Liveflow decide? How does it get decided where it lives? I know we can then do all of the sharing, all of that kind of stuff.
Got it. Yeah, a very good question. So Liveflow connects based on a spreadsheet basis. So clearly, we don't want your clients to see all the other clients.
Right.
And the point is, as an accountant, you decide which sheet has which client. So you just basically go to, let's say, like sheet new.
Yes.
You create a new sheet, and
do you
then
not love that? Sheets new, and then you create a new sheet from the URL. Right. And I'm just going to do a teachable moment for anybody who doesn't know. Sheets.new, docs.new, form.new, anything in the URL of a Chrome browser creates a new document of whatever kind it is. It's so much fun. Okay.
Right. So we create
we go.
Yeah. For example, you create like a dashboard for client one.
Right.
You say like, okay,
so you
fine.
Initiate the sheet wherever you want.
You either initiate the sheet, or you might have the dashboard already set up somewhere. Meaning it is existent, and you want Liveflow to pipe into this dashboard because you had this dashboard set up with the client before, but you did it manually. You can just set up this extension Liveflow in that sheet, which has been already created, or you can set it up from scratch, and then you say, okay, cool, Liveflow, integrate QuickBooks.
Okay, right.
And we just do the whole thing from scratch. So it's completely new, it's brand new. Why?
Right, you did show, you showed that earlier. Now I'm just
so it's
into
per
the weeds.
sheet. Like your clients will not be able to see other clients unless you decide to do so.
Right, but I was just trying to get the whole, how do you set it up? So the reports need to be originated in QuickBooks. They're the standard set of reports in QuickBooks, but you can set up a fresh sheet and then you direct the, because you're using the add-on.
Yep.
I'm just trying to get it for some people that maybe we didn't quite get it at the beginning, and I missed it a little bit myself. So
all right,
create the sheet if you want, go to the add-ons and start to connect who you want in that, what file you want in that sheet, what reports you want, and then it builds out the new tabs.
Right.
The reports though originate in QuickBooks. Okay, got it. Yep. And they're not custom reports, they're the standard set of reports in QuickBooks. You customize them then in the sheet.
Right.
Which then pulls in the data that you want.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Cool. And yeah, on this note, if you want to disconnect the company from this sheet, you just hit disconnect and it will be disconnected from the sheet and from Liveflow as well.
Okay, got you.
Cool. So we had a look at reports. And we had a look at this newly created report, which is like customized with your own colors, with your columns. You can add rows as well. Like you can do whatever you want. It's fully yours. We'll just pipe the data into the cells that have like the right month name and the account name.
And so you could do fun things too. Like you can, I love when you turn the type sideways.
What do you mean?
So go to April 1st to 14th, for example. Go to any header. Yep. Then go up to the format bar and go to, now keep going in the other direction and you will see an A on the other direction.
This one.
And you keep going. Keep moving along. Nope, the other way. Go towards the sum.
This one. Gosh.
Yes, sorry. I love that.
Yeah, this one. Okay.
I love fun. So I think that, and although I need a life, obviously, if I think there are fun things in Google Sheets, I love when we can do fun things like that. So that will be sticky then, right? That's going to stay.
To be honest, I haven't tried this one. Let's see whether it reads it the right way. Supposedly it's just the change of formatting, but let's refresh this and see whether it breaks it. Let's see the date here. Yeah, cool. It's refreshed. It's not broken. It's fine.
Okay, so we can do all kinds of fun things. We can. I mean, I know these sound silly, but you've got to engage your clients as best you can, right? And some of the ways to engage them are visually.
Yep, that's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, that's why I guess they choose you as their accountant and advisor, because you just bring the value through your own way of seeing numbers, right? All right, so we had a look at this report, and what is really important, you can just adjust these reports. So for instance, you realize that it should be cash, and then you can just change the date range or like display columns by whatever you prefer. You can say like, okay, fine, update report. And then, yeah, it will be refreshed as you can see it now. And we changed the basis, the accounting method to cash now. So you can modify it the way you want it. It's truly yours, right? Something that is really cool, I truly love this feature. We allow you to go back to QuickBooks if you fancy that, or drill down right into cells here. So here you can see the link, include links to QBO. If I go to links here and let's say hover over this one, you can see that there is a link to QuickBooks. Yeah. So we hit this link and we are redirected to QuickBooks where we'll see the breakdown of all of the transactions that went into that account.
Okay, and just to state the obvious again for people who may not know this, that works if you have that file open while you are working in the sheet in that same Chrome browser.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's a seamless. So it's a lot of apps are like that. If you can drill down natively from the app, as long as you have that particular QBO file open, it goes directly there. You don't have to.
You don't need to just to dig deeper yourself and figure out where exactly it is located. But what
so
we actually,
I try to make that. But when I'm training accountants and bookkeepers, I try to make that a policy that if you're working in like a review app, or you're working in, actually Zapier is another good example. For the most part, if you want to connect an app in Zapier, if you have it open, logged in the same browser, Zapier connects much more seamlessly to it.
Yeah, that's really important. You should be logged into that account. In our case, Acme.
And it's also good policy because you're seeing things in real time for the review app, for the QuickBooks online file. I think you integrate with Xero as well, correct?
Well, we don't have Xero yet, and that's the next big thing.
Oh, sorry about that.
But yeah, everyone thinks so, and we have it on our website. It's coming, but it's not released to the public yet.
Okay, so at any rate, back to QuickBooks then. It's still good policy. If you're in a reporting app and you're in a file review app and you should have that same company file open anyways, just to keep things running along smoothly. But so quick little thing, if you have that company file open, it's pretty seamless to get into your deep links then.
Yeah, so that's one way if you fancy going to QuickBooks. But there is a better option, I think, where you can say like, all right, let's have a look at this same thing, but in Google Sheets. So we don't want to go to QuickBooks every single time. We go to drill down and we see exactly the same thing here. Yeah, so essentially it's a time saver because you set it up and you don't really need to switch accounts here. So if I pull another company in another sheet, you don't need to go to QuickBooks and switch accounts to drill down into these underlying transactions. So you just go to this tab and then you just hover over the cells and then you see all of the underlying transactions right here.
Can the end user do that as well? I'm guessing.
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay. So this one I hover over, then another one. So it's literally instant. It appears like after we connect to QuickBooks real quick and see, okay, cool, this transaction, that transaction, etc. And yeah, you can connect as many reports as you wish, as many companies as you wish, and you will just see all of these transactions right in Google Sheets without going back to QuickBooks.
That's fun.
Yep. All right.
That's fun. Okay.
So yeah, that's the drill down feature. You can of course filter it and organize it again the way you want it. It's fully yours, right? So that's the other thing that we have called the drill down. As you can imagine, it came from accountants because that's the most popular thing to say. Like, okay, how do we drill down? How do we dig deeper? All right. So the last bit that I want to show here is that we have a template library. So we started with a very simple thing, which was like the first one was budget versus actuals, and the second one was the consolidated P&L. And then we just started to build more and more and more because people were coming and saying like, okay, do you have the P&L by class? Do you have the expenses by vendor? Do you have P&L by month and class? So I'll show you how these templates look. So of course they are all free and you can utilize them straight away. So let's have a look, let's say at budget versus actuals. So here you can find a quick instruction on how to use this template. So all you need to do is just go to file, make a copy, and it's all yours. If you want to understand like how it all works, you just go through all of these mini instructions. And here we just pre-built a few dashboards, and that's what we talk about, like when you need to reference cells and see all of the beautiful charts and numbers flowing. And then, yeah, we just pull this data from QuickBooks with Liveflow, and you set it up for your own company. So that's one of the templates. It's like P&L budget planning template. Another one is the consolidated P&L, something that is like very popular. Imagine a case you have multiple companies. Right. Again, QuickBooks in and out. With Liveflow, you do it once. You connect all of the entities to this spreadsheet. And then basically you have one sheet for the entity number one, another one for the entity number two, and as many entities as you wish. And then you just copy and paste this formula, which is index match. The alternative would be VLOOKUP, but that's something that we learned and we find it quite convenient. So basically we index entity number one and match it on the account name. And then we match the date here. So the point of this consolidated view is just to switch between months and pull these numbers per month rather than having them back to back, because it will be otherwise a very long tab here looking into all of this month. So that's one template that we really love and see it being very, very popular. And another one we have for accounts payable. So basically here you pull the AP agent summary report. You can see it here, it's like very standard. And then we build this dashboard that says, let's collect top 10 vendors by amount due. And then we have like this formula that pulls the numbers from this original report and shows you your top amounts due. And the same for accounts receivable here. So basically that allows you to build a dashboard that explains it in a very simple and easy to understand way, like all of the accounts receivable that you need to track. And something that I think Heather came up with during the course, like, okay, so which account receivable like has the highest value? Whom do we need to chase? Okay, cool. If we have this amount exceeding, let's say 30K, drop me a Slack notification, send an email, send a message, and then you just chase, let's say SpaceX in this case. So the point being is that you consolidate this view, set up the automation, and you stay on the cutting edge and you work way faster versus all the manual job that you need to look at and like drill down and see it on QuickBooks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and of course Heather came up when that was the zap you were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
When it hits a certain threshold, send the email. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's super convenient.
Yeah.
All right. I think I covered it all apart from one thing, which you asked about at the very beginning of the conversation, is how do we publish it to Excel? What do we do with that? Yeah. The only thing, as you can see, my screen is set up in Mac, but we do know that people prefer to use like Windows machines, and yeah, that's how you fly through Excel rather than on Mac. So it's not the same setup. Therefore, I'll show you the way to transfer this data, and then I'll present how my co-founder, who's like an Excel aficionado, uses the connection between the two. So
Actually, one of my buddies, he's a traveling buddy. He also lives out here on the lake that I live on. He is, I call him Mr. Excel, and he built something called Lone Wolf Broker Wolf. It's Lone Wolf Technologies, and it is a real estate accounting software. And he built that out of Excel as well. I cannot wait I'm going to show him this. He loves anything where you build these kinds of things out. He loves Excel, not Sheets, because he tends to be a little bit of a
I can't say enough like which one wins, because Excel obviously has its benefits, like you fly through it with your keyboard, it's so fast. But Google Sheets, you have the version control, you have this share button where you can invite all sorts of folks, you can create live dashboards from here. So it's hard to choose. It really depends on the habits that you developed over the time.
But I think the point that I really wanted to emphasize is I am not an Excel or a Sheets guru by any stretch. So when I see things like this, or the company that he built, the product that he built out of Excel, I am blown away by how brilliant some of y'all are. It is just astounding to me that it's a concept and execute it in these ways. It's how smart people are is mind-boggling. But you can go back to your demo now.
Thanks. Thank you. Well, I just wanted to say that it's literally like a programming language. It's amazing. It allows you to build so many things. So what I wanted to share, first of all, before we jump into the Excel thing, you can create the dashboards that will stay intact. So they will not be touched by your clients. I've heard that many people don't want clients just to touch anything here. So this can be just frozen as is and updated in real time without them just touching the underlying content. So the way to do it,
so it could be view only is really what you're saying, right?
Yes, but there's like another way. So here, of course, you can invite someone and then you say viewer, which is fine.
Right.
But we can do another thing. Here we go to file, share, and then you say publish to web.
Right.
And here you can publish the entire document or just the dashboard, because you don't want them to see all of the corresponding spreadsheets, like all the tabs. You want them to see the dashboard that tells them like what's going on the high level, and they don't need to just have a look at the rest. So you say like, all right, and if you want, here you need to restrict access to the following. So if you have like a shared domain with your client, in my case it's Liveflow, this will be restricted only to Liveflow. Otherwise, it's published to the internet. So you need to be really careful. Of course, no one can find like a long URL. It's not possible, but it's better to be careful here. So we restricted here. I would say dashboard web page, and we can copy this link and insert it here. And from this window, we can see that it's like a lightweight page that will be refreshed in real time with Liveflow without your client necessarily touching anything. You can see that there is no Google Sheets interface. It's just a page. And they just can open it at any time and they can see what's going on without bothering you, like what's going on with my accounts receivable, like what's going on with SpaceX, etc. It's just there for them. And they can always just check this link. So there's one way. And now let's talk about Excel. So there is a way to publish it to Excel. So you need to choose how you publish it. And on Microsoft, you will be able to publish it as Microsoft Excel. And I have a video for that. So if we go here and insert the link from my co-founder Lasse, who explains how it all works, so we just can briefly go through it. So basically here he shares the same flow, saying that you can just publish it to web, pretty much the same. You choose what you want to publish, and then you choose how you want to publish it. So then you grab this link, and then you go to Excel. And in Excel on Microsoft, you can go to the data tab here, and then you choose get data, and then you choose where exactly you want your data to come from. So we'll go slowly. You choose from other sources, and then you choose from web here. So from web, and then you insert the link to this Google Sheet, and you say what exactly should appear there. So then there's like a pop-up window that previews the document that you have. You choose, okay, let's paste this table G. and then let's pull it from Google Sheets. So basically it appears this way with all of the formulas, with everything that you had in Google Sheets. And then basically he explains how you can publish it, like with the period of time of 5 minutes. So it says refresh every, and then you just say 5 minutes. And that's the way for you to set it up in Excel. So essentially there is a way, but it just requires you to paste a Google Sheets link, because Google Sheets talk to Liveflow and QuickBooks. So yeah, that allows you to pipe the data in Excel and work with it, and we have quite a few customers doing that.
Okay, cool. Fun. Now, tell me about your pricing.
Right. So if you go here, it's called Liveflow pricing. Hold on, pricing here. Here's our pricing page. And since I mentioned that we work with finance professionals who are like independent, we charge based on the company connected. So as I mentioned, we do have businesses directly, and this will be for them like $19 per month. But for accountants, it's the case where you have like multiple companies and you decide which companies need this automation. So at this price, you can have full access to all of the integrations. You can just have a proper look what it actually means. So all of the reports, all of the integrations, all of the features that I just presented, and you can invite as many people as you wish. So let's imagine there are many people on the client side. You can invite all of them and they will not be charged. Or if you don't want to absorb the cost of the subscription and you want your client to pay for the subscription, it's totally fine. They pay $19 and we'll just connect you on our side as an accountant of that company, and you don't pay anything else.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, that's our pricing. Obviously, we have an enterprise plan, and that's the case where you have like a big company and you have like many companies to connect live on. In this case, we just discuss the enterprise plan.
Okay, great. Any final last things you would like to kind of tell me about your product? I mean, it was a great demo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fun. Useful. Any kind of final last things you want to say about it?
Let me think.
Don't you hate an on the spot? Like, what do you say to that? Right? I don't really know what you say to that, but just in case.
Well, I would love to ask you, like, what's your impression, and whether you find yourself use this product to be useful to finance professionals, and what are the things that you would want us to build?
Yeah, so putting me back on the spot, I'm not sure about things to build. That one, I'm not seeing anything at the outset that I'm going, oh, it's sorely lacking in this. And my overall impression is it would be, I actually love this right here, this dashboard. I can see where, I mean, let's get the money in, right? So they can pay their accounting professional.
Right.
We don't want their PADs going south on us, right? So off the top, yeah, I mean, I see the value in it, and I don't have any compelling wants at this moment. So there, we put each other on the spot now, didn't we?
Well, like any ideas are very much appreciated, because essentially defines like what we build next. That's why I'm asking you. Obviously, yeah, we touched the zero a couple of times, and I think what we see now is that zero is growing in the US quite aggressively.
Yes.
So clearly we need to build the integration with zero. Another thing that we need to build is the integration with banks. I think the trend that we're seeing right now is that more and more platforms are becoming more friendly. Like they become better at building their APIs to help end users to access the data, because right now it's a little bit cumbersome to go to bank accounts, check bank feeds and all of this. And there is like a provider which is called Plaid that allows to connect to multiple banks across the world. Like we can do UK, US, Canadian, other banks. And that's something that we also need to build. So I'm really curious, like if someone watches this video like what are the things that you're struggling with, because literally this space is opening up, and there are companies like ourselves which are listening to users and want to literally want to build something that people want. So yeah, if any ideas what should be built next, I think we are all ears.
Yeah, well, I think you're on the obvious one. And then I would say maybe not far behind Zero would be FreshBooks.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that when you filled out the form, the intake form. I think you had FreshBooks listed there.
Yeah. That's also requested. Not that huge, but yeah,
right.
It is.
Sure. Yep.
There. Yep.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Anita. So I guess we can call it an end to the recording and go on to some of the administration stuff of you and I.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.